Welcome to Fun Facts Daily, your source for just the good stuff. Monday through Friday, we're bringing fun facts and news you can use, all carefully curated to uplift and inform. So give yourself a break, relax, and learn something awesome in just a few minutes every day. Hi everyone, I'm Kyle Wood, and today we're going to be learning all about pistachios. Now, just a reminder, if you're enjoying the show and want to consume your daily dose of fun facts without all the ads, check the links in the show notes because for just $3 a month, you can get all my podcasts, that's Fun Facts Daily, Art Smart, and Who Arted, all ad-free. On Fun Facts Daily alone, I've covered over 300 different topics, with more coming, every day. And whether you support me on Patreon or not, if there's a topic you want to learn about but I haven't covered, you can just email me, funfactsdailypod@gmail.com, or leave a suggestion in the comments on Spotify, and I'll do my best to cover it. Now, as always, let's warm up our brains with a little challenge to see if you can tell fact from fiction. Consider this. Pistachios are delicious and nutritious. They're a critical part of the popular Dubai chocolates which have been flying off the shelves. But some people say pistachios are a hot commodity, quite literally. Would you believe that crates full of pistachios have been known to spontaneously combust? What do you think? Is this an actual fact? We'll find out at the end of the episode. Now for your word of the day. Our word for today is dehiscence. That's DEHISCENCE. In botany, dehiscence refers to the automatic splitting open of a mature plant structure, such as a fruit, pod, or shell, to discharge its contents. For pistachios, this process occurs naturally while the fruit is still hanging on the tree branches. As the seed grows inside, it exerts pressure on the hard, protective shell until it splits open along its natural seam, causing the outer fleshy hull to loosen. This physical separation indicates that the pistachio is fully mature and ready for harvest. The word dehiscence comes from the Latin dehiscere, which translates to gape or to open wide. This Latin root combines the prefix de, meaning off or away, with hiscere, meaning to open. Botanists began using an English adaptation of the word in the early 19th century to categorize various plant mechanisms that distribute seeds. Time for your daily high five, our top 5 fun facts about pistachios. Number 1. Pistachios are technically seeds of a fruit and not true nuts. Botanists classify a true nut as a hard-shelled pod containing both the fruit and seed of the plant, where the shell does not split open on its own. Pistachios don't meet that definition, and they're technically classified as seeds of a stone fruit or a drupe. Other well-known drupes include peaches, cherries, and olives, which all feature a fleshy exterior surrounding a hard central pit. Some other famous, quote, nuts that are actually drupes would include almonds and pecans. For pistachios, agricultural processors remove the outer hull, leaving the familiar cream-colored shell and the edible green kernel inside. The inner seed contains high levels of chlorophyll and lutein, which give the kernel its distinctive green and purple coloration. These natural pigments aren't just for show, though. They're also antioxidants that protect the plant cell structures. Number 2. Pistachio trees operate on an alternate bearing cycle requiring up to 10 years to produce a significant harvest. Commercial pistachio orchards are a long-term agricultural investment because the trees grow very slowly. Farmers have to care for young trees for 7 to 10 years before the first heavy crop develops. The trees will usually reach peak production capabilities when they're about 20 years old. But once they mature, they can survive and produce seeds for over 300 years if maintained in optimal environmental conditions. The trees utilize an alternate bearing cycle, which means they produce a heavy crop one year and a light crop the following year. During the high yield years, the tree directs its nutritional energy into growing the crop of seeds. This energy expenditure, though, leaves fewer resources for the tree to develop internal buds for the subsequent season. As a result, the next year yields a much lower volume of pistachios while the tree replenishes its carbohydrate reserves. Number 3. Pistachio trees require separate male and female plants to produce food. The pistachio tree is dioecious, a botanical characteristic indicating that male and female flowers grow on completely separate organisms. Female trees produce the actual pistachio fruit, but they can't do that without the pollen from the male tree. To fertilize the fruit, commercial orchard growers will plant a specific ratio of male to female trees. Typically, a farmer will plant one male tree for every 8 to 12 females. Because pistachios don't produce nectar, they don't attract bees or other insect pollinators to assist in reproduction. Instead, the fertilization process relies completely on wind currents to carry pollen from the male blossoms to the female flowers, so farmers have to be sure to place the male trees upwind from the female trees during the spring blooming season. If wind patterns fail or weather conditions remain too wet during this period, fertilization rates will drop and the female trees will produce empty shells known as blanks. Number 4. Archaeological evidence indicates humans have been eating pistachios since the dawn of civilization nearly 9,000 years ago. Archaeological excavations in Central Asia have uncovered fossilized pistachio remnants dating back to 6,750 BCE. Researchers believe that early nomadic tribes gathered wild pistachios as a primary source of dietary energy and fat. The trees originally flourished in the semi-arid regions of modern-day Iran, Afghanistan, and Uzbekistan. Over the centuries, trade routes facilitated the spread of the plant westward into the Mediterranean basin and Europe. Historic manuscripts show that ancient rulers valued pistachios for its long shelf life and nutritional density. Legend has it that the Queen of Sheba declared pistachios an exclusively royal food and forbade common citizens from growing them. Pistachios are also mentioned in the Bible. In the book of Genesis, Jacob instructed his sons to bring a gift to the Egyptian ruler, who was Joseph, although they didn't know it at the time, in order to curry favor and secure grain during a severe famine. Jacob lists the best products of the land of Canaan to pack into their bags, grouping pistachios with almonds, honey, and myrrh. The high oil content and low moisture of the dried seed allowed travelers to carry them across deserts without spoiling. Today, they're still widely viewed as delicious, although less of a delicacy. Global production exceeds 1 million metric tons annually, with the United States and Turkey leading the market. And our fifth and final fun fact for today: pistachios are loaded with nutritional value. A 1-ounce serving of roasted pistachios delivers 6 grams of complete plant-based protein, providing the 9 essential amino acids that the human body can't synthesize on its own. That's the same amount of protein found in an egg. And that's not all. The same serving of pistachios has 3 grams of dietary fiber, which is more fiber than a half cup of cooked broccoli. This combination of fiber and protein is more satiating than simple carbohydrate snacks, meaning they'll keep you feeling full for longer. Pistachios are also a great source of potassium, an essential electrolyte that helps with fluid balance by regulating the amount of water held inside your cells. Potassium works in direct opposition to sodium, which regulates the fluid outside your cells. Maintaining proper hydration helps with muscle function and blood pressure. Potassium also acts as a vital electrical conductor, powering your nervous system, heart rhythm, and metabolic processes. While a lot of people look at bananas as their go-to source for potassium, just 2 ounces of pistachios will actually give you more potassium than a large banana. Now for some news you can use. Many people recommend eating pistachios that are still in the shell as a way of exercising some portion control. Studies have shown that people who eat pistachios with the shells tend to eat about 40% fewer per snack than those eating pre-shelled pistachios. Of course, the downside to removing the shells yourself is you'll inevitably come across some stubborn shells that are only partially split, making them really difficult to open with your fingers. If you're anything like me, you might try to pry it open until your nail feels like it might split before the shell, and then in a moment of desperation, consider using your teeth to crack the shell, and then think about how you might crack your dental work. But you don't have to go down that path. Just grab a discarded half shell from a previously opened pistachio and use it as a wedge. Insert the edge of an empty half shell into the narrow crack of a closed pistachio. Twist the half shell like a key, and the leverage will easily split the two halves apart. The rigid structure of the empty shell provides a firm, thin wedge that easily slides into the small gap along the seam of the closed nut. When you apply a twisting motion, the force is distributed evenly against the inner walls of the shell, forcing the natural fracture line to expand. This will save you time, hassle, and pain, allowing you to get the kernel without having to go for extra tools like nutcrackers or pliers. Finally, the moment you've been waiting for. At the beginning of the episode, I asked, could large shipments of pistachios really spontaneously catch fire? It sounds nuts to think these drupes could spontaneously combust, but that's a fact. Maritime transport guidelines place strict regulations on how pistachios are packed and shipped because international agencies classify bulk cargo of pistachios as a self-heating hazard. The combustion occurs because pistachios have a high percentage of natural oils and a low percentage of water. When thousands of tons of these seeds are packed tightly together in a confined space like a dark shipping container, the fats interact with oxygen in the air. As they interact, a chemical breakdown known as oxidation occurs, releasing a small amount of heat and carbon dioxide. If moisture enters the container, it can accelerate the decomposition process, causing temperatures to rise rapidly until the entire shipment ignites. In order to prevent this, shipping companies have to transport pistachios in well-ventilated, temperature-controlled containers. Now, I hope you enjoyed learning a bit about pistachios with me today, and be sure to tune in every weekday for even more fun facts. Fun Facts Daily is an Airwave Media podcast. It was written, recorded, mixed, and edited by me, Kyle Wood. Thanks for sharing a part of your day with me. Be sure to follow Fun Facts Daily on your favorite podcast app so you can keep the good stuff coming your way every day. And if you like the show, please do me a favor and leave a kind rating, review, or just tell your friends about it.